I came here when JIBS started in 1994, and the task for me and other professors that were recruited were to develop new research programs. And I was coming from strategic change research, and it was interesting to look into SMEs and also different types of ownership and what we could learn from, especially then family-owned businesses. At that time, strategy research was focusing on big companies, multinationals, listed big companies. And we had also a lot of research in strategy and organization theory on public organization, meaning governmental organization and so on. So it was like an open window to go in and look at privately held family businesses, but also then to look at other family businesses that even were listed. So that was the starting point. I was at the sabbatical down in Paris and was writing on a research program when the dean contacted me and said, we have a possibility to get 5 million Swedish crowns for some research program. Do you have a suggestion? Yes, I said, I think we should focus on family business. And that was the Hamrin Foundation. And exactly 21 years ago, I was receiving the money from Christina Hamrin. And this is an article in the university magazine at that time. We labeled the research program Family Business Dynamics. And the dynamics were related to 3 different things, and we decided that it should be multidisciplinary from the beginning. And one perspective was looking at the law, not only business law, but the law perspective on, for example, succession in family business. And another perspective was more financial and accounting based on the business control in this type of businesses. And the third perspective was more org theory, org studies based, where we also wanted to look at the dynamics of family business culture. So these were some of the things that were mentioned. One thing that I had with me from strategic change research was an interest in power. And I think that family business research really was interesting because the ultimate power is so evident. The ultimate power is in the hands of the people that owns the business. So we started then this research program called Family Business Dynamics, and I started to recruit PhD students, and there were some also senior colleagues at JIBS that started to do family business research at that time. And around 2000 we were about 10 people in 3 disciplines doing research on family business. The big challenge in the beginning was to publish articles there were one journal, Family Business Review, but other journals didn't know about family business. So that was a major problem. And when we started in 1995, family business as an academic field was not existing at that time. It was still a very poor area in terms of research. So it was really good timing. I had no idea about that, but it's really good time if you're looking at the growth of this field during these 2 decades. After 2000, we started to grow the group, and during that time, we focused not only on publishing, but we did a lot on advising and programs and short courses for family business owners and business families. And that was that part of research that was related to relevance, but it was also dissemination of knowledge. So we thought it was extremely important to do things together with practitioners, and that was part of the roots of starting this type of research. In 2005, we then got acceptance from JIBS to start this center, and the name, after a lot of discussion, then became CeFEO, Center for Family Enterprise and Ownership. And the reason we added ownership was that we thought it was extremely important to do comparative studies between different types of ownership. Another reason was that that was a way also to emphasize governance issues in family business research. But the most important thing was the ownership dimension, not only looking at family business, but also other type of ownership in other types of businesses. We had 10 years of experience of family business research. We were a group of 14 people, still from 3 disciplines, and we decided then to start working within this institutionalized form as a center is. Important for the center and the possible success of the center was financing. And besides new money from the Hamrin Foundation, we also got money from the partners I mentioned, but also major research grants from research councils in Sweden. And with that financial background, we could start to grow the group even further. Especially we focused on PhD students, and for example, a couple of PhD students in economics focused on also family business issues that was important in relation to our cross-disciplinary ambitions. We were more and more successful in publishing articles in journals, FPR of course, but also other journals, mainly in entrepreneurship. The center was growing in terms of researchers and PhD students, and when I handed over the directorship in 2012, we were about 25 people in the center, and today we've grown even further to 30 people. What has happened between 2005 and now, I think, is the deeper internationalization of CeFEO. We have had 2 programs for visiting professors, the TOF program and also Hamrin visiting professorship. And we have recruited the PhD students and postdocs internationally since then. So the growth in figures is also deepened internationalizations in the research faculty at CeFEO. About the possible success of CeFEO, not only in terms of figures of people working here, but also in terms of output and importance and impact. I think that one important ingredient from the beginning has been that we have seen family business research as something that need to be anchored in another field as well. So this idea about 2 legs, one like building the specific family business research field, but having the other leg in theoretical field like org studies, or even more specific than org studies like institutional theory, or in strategy, or even more specific than strategy like strategy as practice, etc. in all other different theoretical fields. So this 2-leg view, I think, has been extremely important also for the quality of the research that we have done. Because when you not only relate you to family business, the requirements in terms of publishing come from 2 ends, and I think that combination is extremely important to put a pressure on quality. Another thing that have been important is the idea that both quantitative and qualitative research could be done in excellent ways. Because doing good qualitative research is easier said than done, and I think we have proved that you can do also good qualitative research. During the last 10 years, I think we have improved the quantitative side extremely in the center with a lot of studies based on our own surveys, but also on databases that, especially from Statistics Sweden. What's next step for CeFEO? I think to keep the good work spirit and work environment that we have both within CeFEO, but also to be able to keep it at the JIBS level, to keep our international scholars and to get new scholars and PhD students interested to come here. That's of course one important thing. Another important thing now for development of CeFEO, but also development of the family business field, is to actually do very good studies from perspectives of different disciplines or research areas or fields, as I mentioned before. One example, of course, is a special issue of organization studies that we will do, looking at what can organization studies perspective give to family business and vice versa. And this broad take on how to improve family business research is extremely important.